محمد وآله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين شفيع المذنبين رحمة للعالمين مولانا وسيدنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأرض مولانا حجة ابن الحسن عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. اللهم صل على محمد. ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الإمام محمد الباقر عليه الصلاة والسلام: اللهم صل على محمد. رحم الله عبدا حبس نفسه علينا. Respected elders, brothers and sisters, we continue with our series on yearning for Imam Mahdi, Imam Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. As I've said, that these lectures are to remember Imam Zaman, to please the delicate heart of Imam Zaman, and to produce an attachment with Imam Zaman. Following on from our discussion yesterday, if you followed the logic which I was trying to present yesterday about the du'as which we recite, there's only one conclusion that you can come to, and that is, from the first day that you recited your first du'a until today, every single heartfelt dua you have recited has been answered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in one of the 5 ways that we discussed yesterday. Meaning that no action of yours for Allah has gone to waste. No action that you have done in a heartfelt manner for Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala has gone to waste. This is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that was du'as. And the point that we were making was that any heartfelt plea to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is answered. We don't know sometimes the minutest actions, what value they have in the eyes of Allah. I said yesterday about Ayatollah Gul Paygani marhum, rahmatullah alayh, about his one incident in Najaf, where he had that just a thought and a sentence that he spoke, even in his own mind, but how the angels appreciated that from him. Allama Tabatabai, the great Allama Tabatabai, rahmatullah alayh, let's have for him and all of our deceased scholars a loud salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allama had a brother as well. His name was Sayyid Ilahi Tabatabai. He was also a very, very good scholar and very spiritual person. This Sayyid Ilahi Tabatabai had a student called Agha Adib. This Agha Adib had a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The gift from Allah was that he could connect with the souls of the deceased. And what he would do was that he would connect with the souls of past ulama, past great ulama. And they would ask them questions, and they would, seek their answers and seek their help and seek their insights. And so on one occasion, they even managed to connect with the deceased soul of one of the pre-Islamic personalities. Pre-Islam, someone from pre-Islam. And they said to him, "Can you advise us? What do you say? Tell us something of value." And this person, the deceased soul, said to them that, "I advise you, do not even underestimate one sentence of La ilaha illallah." He said, "You don't know how much sawab there is in just saying La ilaha illallah." We who lived before Islam, we didn't have that phrase. Exactly as you Muslims have it, we didn't have that phrase. But you don't know how much sawab there is in just reciting one La ilaha illallah. And they say that this Sayyid Ilahi Tabatabai and his student Agha Adib, they spoke to many of the deceased scholars, except for two. They couldn't manage to call two scholars. One was the great Sayyid Ibn Tawus, and one was the great Sayyid Bahrul Ulum. And they asked once, they said, why everyone we are able to have an audience with, these two don't come, and these two we can't get hold of. And they were told, these two you will not get hold of, because these two are busy in the service of Amirul Mu'mineen. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So they will not leave serving Amirul Mu'mineen to come to you. They are very special. So one La ilaha illallah, imagine. Now you build on that and you do all of these things, and all of these things are very special, and a mu'min needs to have istirar for these things. It shouldn't be comfortable for someone just to waste time for minutes and hours to go by doing nothing without remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It shouldn't be acceptable for someone to do that, because we are missing out. The formation of our personalities and our souls and us as individuals is linked with ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not waste your time. Do not think anything is small. Do not think, oh well, this is just a small zikr or this is just a small thing. No. The thing which Allah will appreciate, it will benefit you in the hereafter. Now we have to come on to a very important question. This is a question which many people have been discussing with me after the lectures, but I have remained silent and I have not answered them. I've heard, but I've not answered. And the question is this: what are we mustar for? Have istirar, have this sense of distress, have this sense of emergency. But for what? Like, what do we bring in our mind that makes us mustar and have istirar? Like, what exactly should we be thinking about? Many people, they've given idea, for example, that yes, we need Imam Zaman because you know what, the situation of the world is terrible. We need someone to come and sort out all these political disputes and all these wars and genocides and occupations which are happening. We need justice in the world, therefore we need Imam Zaman. I have remained silent. I didn't say anything. Others have different ideas that, you know, we need someone to bring a sense of human rights and freedom into the world. At the moment, it's like, you know, the bullies are ruling the world. I've remained silent. But today, inshallah, we'll discuss this. That what exactly do we need Imam Zaman for? Why should we have istirar? So there are three basic levels of having istirar for Imam Zaman. Let's go through them one by one with the support of as-salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. The first level of istirar is istirar for our worldly needs. Istirar for our worldly needs, okay? To be honest, mu'mineen, the place we live, the lives we lead, in general, I would say we don't have many serious problems. Yes, from time to time, there are serious problems. We have difficulties, but in general, we don't have major problems in our lives. Relatively, we live in safety. Relatively, we have access to healthcare. We fall ill, we have access to healthcare. Relatively, we have access to food and water. Relatively, we can go from A to B. If I need to transport something, I can transport it. If I need to get something fixed, it gets fixed. If I need to buy something, I can buy it. If I have any kind of these basic human needs, I can fulfill them. Generally speaking, people have families. Generally speaking, we feel supported and safe. Okay? Yes, again, there are times when we go through issues and there are people in sad situations, yes, but I'm talking on a general level. However, why do we feel safe? Why don't we feel that we are in need of waliya khuda? Because I'm hungry, I go to the fridge. I'm tired, I go and lie down and have a nap. I'm ill, I get an appointment with my doctor. Everything, I have something where to go to. The real cause is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The real cause. These are just the zahiri, apparent things that I use to satisfy my needs. The real cause is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But because we don't go that far, we don't make the connection with Allah, we are therefore thinking that, well, I'm quite comfortable. I have everything I need. So then that sense of istirar doesn't tend to happen. Because on the apparent level, I can satisfy all my needs with these mod cons and these different things that I have, and therefore I don't feel a deep sense of urgency towards waliya zaman. Now, what about when things go really wrong? Let's say, for example, all of a sudden, for some reason, I can't reach my doctor. I am in serious financial hardship. I get evicted from my home, or the bank comes and repossesses my home, or God forbid I get divorced, or God forbid I have such levels of disputes with my family that they turn me away, for example. Then what happens? Then what happens is, all of a sudden we realize that actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can help me. So when the zahiri things fail, we turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And our namaz becomes a bit more long, and our du'as become a bit more heartfelt, and maybe in our eyes we get some tears. But generally speaking, we live fairly comfortable lives. So there are times when we have this istirar for Allah, towards Allah, for our worldly needs. And there are even times, correct me if I'm wrong, there are even times where we would say something like, you know what, my life is not going very well, I need to go for ziyarat. Right? We do that. We all do it. We've all done it. I need to go for ziyarat. I need to go and... That's fine. I need to go see Imam Raza. I need to see Imam Husseini. I need to go and pay a visit to Najaf. So what are we doing? We have istirar for Allah, for waliya khuda, for Imam, but for our worldly needs. Okay, so this is one level of istirar. I ask you a question. Is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything wrong with having istirar for our worldly needs? Are we doing anything wrong? The answer is no. We are not doing anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with that at all. We do this all the time. And we have been told to do it. Hadith says, beseech Allah, even if it is for the salt in your food and the laces of your shoes. You need Allah even for these things. At this level, you need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with having istirar for our worldly needs. However, is it the best? No. Why? For two reasons. There are other reasons, but for our discussion, two reasons. Number one, you have to admit that there is a little bit of selfishness in there. There is a little bit of selfishness in there. You are bringing some of your selfish needs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As if yesterday I didn't need you, but now because I can't get hold of my doctor, or now because I can't pay my bills, or now because my rent is due and I can't afford it, now I need you. There's a little bit of selfishness there. Some people say, yeah, but we need Imam, for example, for the situation in the world, the political situation in the world. Okay, I ask you a question. You feel we need Imam, right? For the situation that we see around the world in the Middle East, for example. You feel that, right? We all feel that we need Imam Zaman. Hypothetically, if tomorrow the situation is sorted and solved, will we say we don't need Imam Zaman anymore? So there's a little bit of selfishness. Number two, the other problem with this is what I just said, that once it gets solved, then it's forget about Allah, forget about namaz, forget about dua, back to normal. The namaz becomes quick again, the duas get reduced again, that feeling of istirar goes again. So it's extremely fickle. This first one can be extremely fickle. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, He says that فَإِذَا رَكِبُوا فِي الْفُلْكِ, when the sailors go out into the sea, when they board their ships, sailing is a very risky, precarious thing, right? Many things can go wrong. You can be caught in storms and all sorts. When they board their ships, what do? They invoke Allah. Khudaya, I'm going, protect me, help me, make me return to my family safe and sound, etc., etc., etc. What happens when they get back to their families and they're safe and sound and everything is done? Then they forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So this is one of the problems with this level of istirar. With a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So we see people, they undertake these 40-day rituals. They undertake, for example, they go to Masjid al-Sahla for 40 weeks. Or, as much as they can. Masjid al-Jamkaran, Masjid al-Kufa, I'll do this a'mal. Why? Because they have problems in their physical life, their worldly life. Someone narrates that he was in Masjid al-Jamkaran on a Tuesday evening. You go to Masjid al-Jamkaran on a Tuesday evening, it's a very special place. You have tens of thousands of people. And there, who does he meet? He meets Imam Zaman. And he says to him, Mawla, you are not coming out of ghaibat. Your zuhur is not happening. Look at these tens of thousands of people who have come in your devotion for your love. Imam Zaman says to him, allow me to do something where I will let you hear what the people are saying. Imam Zaman allowed him for a few seconds to listen to the people's voices. He says, listen to what they're saying. One was saying, oh Imam Zaman, help me, I can't afford a car. One was saying, oh Imam Zaman, help me, I need to buy a fridge. One was saying, oh Imam Zaman, help me, I want to go on holiday. One was saying, etc., etc. He said, look, have they really come for me? Have they really come for me? Or have they come for their fridge and for their holiday and for their car and for their other things? So, again, let me reiterate, it's not wrong. We are not doing anything wrong. As I said, in the lives of the Imams, they used to help people in their worldly needs. Imam Muhammad Taqi alayhi salatu wassalam, for example, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He was known as Babul Murad because people used to go to him and he used to help them. He was known as Babul Murad. That is not a name that anyone else has given him. The people themselves, the public, they named him Babul Murad. That this person is the one who fulfills our hajat and our wishes. So definitely, it's not wrong, but it's not the best. It has some issues with it. There was one scholar who went through tough times in his life. And there was a time when he was so financially poor, he could not even afford the basic necessities of life. And he became so fed up, he wrote an ariza to Imam Zaman. And he wrote there what he wanted. Mawla, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. He says, no sooner had I put down my pen and there was a knock on the door. And a man was standing there who had covered his face and says, he had a big bag in his hand. And he said, here you go. Here are the things you needed. And then he said something which shook me. He said, here are the things you needed. But don't call His Highness Imam Zaman for your oil and rice and your meat. He is higher than this. So this is one level of having istirar. Okay? This is one level of having istirar. In the time of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. One of Imam's companions was struck by the wealth and power of the Abbasids. And he said something. He said, Mata al-Faraj, when will the rescue happen? When will this, for example, Batil government go and the true government of, for example, the A'imma alayhimu salam come? When will we be rid of these illegal Batil governments and the government of Ahlul-bayt will come? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam replied to him. What did he say? He says, you are one of those who is seeking the world. What you see, for example, oh, they live in nice palaces, we don't. They have a lot of power, we don't. They have a lot of riches and wealth, but we don't. You are asking for the right thing, but for the wrong reason. You are asking for the government of Ahlul-bayt alayhimu salam, but not for these things. This is not why we want to come to power. We don't want to come to power to make people live in palaces and these things. You see? So, when it comes to worldly things, yes, it is not wrong, but there is room for improvement. You may ask a question, you may have this in your mind. If they are not coming to improve our worldly condition, then what are they coming for? Some people may ask this. That if they don't come and help me in XYZ worldly things, then why are they coming? They are coming to build real human beings. This is why Ahlul-bayt waste their time with us. Honestly, I don't know how they deal with people like us. Honestly. How Amirul Mu'mineen used to deal with people like us. But why are they dealing with us? Because they want to build real human beings. They want to build the next Salman Farsi. They want to build the next Abu Dharr Ghifari. They want to build real human beings. They want to build, you know Hazrat Salman, how special he was? Salman Farsi, how special he was? If he did not visit Ahlul Bayt every day, they used to complain to him. They used to say, Salman, what is wrong with you? Why didn't you visit us yesterday? We wanted to see you. This is what they're trying to build. Rasulullah says, Innal malaika la khuddamuna. The angels are there to serve us, Ahlul Bayt, wa khuddamu muhibbina. And they will also serve those who love us. So this is one level of istirar, which is istirar for the physical aspects, for the material aspects, for the worldly aspects. Now we're going to the second level with the loud salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Some people's istirar and concern and anxiety and desperation is not for the world, it's for the hereafter. What they say is that we need our Imam to lead us, to guide us, to educate us, to teach us about Allah, to teach us about Islam, to teach us about the Quran. Rasulullah had said, Inni tarikun fikumul thaqalain. I am leaving behind two important things. Kitab Allah wa itrati. My family and the book of God. These two things will never separate from one another. So we need that other side of the equation. We have the Quran, now we need Ahlul Bayt to come and guide us and teach us and lead us and help us understand the depths of our religion. So that is istirar for the hereafter. Again, is it wrong? Absolutely not. It's a very, very special level of istirar. It is a very good thing to be worried about your akhirat, to be worried that you want to have a good hereafter. That Imam Zaman is needed in order to show us the way and to lead us for the hereafter. Now, are there any flaws in this? Let's explore this. So if you ask them, you have istirar for the hereafter. What do you want from the hereafter? But isn't hell something that we shouldn't do things just for the fear of hell, and we shouldn't do things for the greed of heaven? Some people say that, right? So they will reply and they'll say, no, actually, heaven is the manifestation of the kindness of Allah. Hell is the manifestation of the anger of Allah. We want to be free from those things. We don't want to go into hell because we don't want to experience the anger of Allah. We want to go into heaven so we can experience the bounties and kindnesses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they have istirar on that level. Again, it's not wrong. It is not wrong. There was a great scholar of the past, Sheikh Murtaza Zahid. Sheikh Murtaza Zahid. He was very, very special, very spiritual. His namaz was extremely well attended because people would go and they would get extreme levels of spirituality from that namaz. And his habit was that after namaz, he would give a short talk. And in the talk, he would explain a few different rulings of Islam. Now, on one occasion, what happened was he did the same thing. He led the namaz, he gave the talk, explained some fatwas and rulings, and then he went home. When he went home, he opened the book of laws and he realized, oh no, I've made a mistake. This one law that I had told people, one ruling, I've made a mistake. I said it wrong. So what did he do? He went, each ratna, that same night, he went door to door of the namazis, the people who had come to pray namaz. Each and every namazi that he could remember that were there, he went to their door, knock, knock. Who's there? It's Sheikh Murtaza Zahid. He went knocking. They opened the door. Sheikh, what's wrong? Is everything okay? He said, listen, I need to tell you something. The ruling which I had given you, I had made a mistake. The real ruling is this. One of them said to him, Sheikh, why are you bothering? You would have told us tomorrow. You would have told us tomorrow. We would have come. We come every night. It's usually the same people. We would have come tomorrow. You would have told us tomorrow. What is the rush? He said, maybe you don't have a rush, but maybe Malikul Maut has a rush for me. Maybe Malikul Maut is in a rush to take my soul. Maybe he can't wait till tomorrow. What if I leave this world and you all are doing the wrong thing because of something that I have said? So you see, this level of istirar is very, very important and very, very good, very positive. And that is the level for the hereafter, that we have this sense of urgency, that we want our hereafter to be sorted. We don't want to leave things to chance. Is there something better than this level of istirar? Can you get any better than the level of the hereafter? Let's think about that with a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The third level of istirar is the best of them all. And that is istirar for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Where now a person says to themselves, hell is not that important to me. Heaven is not that important to me. The most important thing for me is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I have got istirar. I have got a sense of desperation and distress because I'm desperate to please my Lord. Karis to atla sawab malse. You do this, you'll get so much sawab. He will say, thank you very much. But as long as my Lord is pleased, that's all I want. Now, let's bring that same thing and apply it to Imam Zaman. Because to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not possible without Ahlul-bayt. Therefore, what they say is, I have istirar for Allah, but to get to Allah, I have to go through Imam Zaman. Therefore, I'm also muztar, I have istirar for Imam Zaman. For them, it is enough. For them, it is enough if they think what I'm doing now, as long as it brings a smile on the face of Imam Zaman, it's enough for me. As long as the delicate heart of Imam Zaman flutters with happiness, it's enough for me. I'm not too bothered about the sawabs and this and that. As if my Imam is happy, then that is everything for me. That is the world for me. This is istirar of the highest level. This is istirar for the sake of Allah, that you need wali zaman to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, you are desperately awaiting wali zaman. Whether his program is justice or mercy or love or unity, all of those things is fair enough. All of those things he knows better. All of those things we leave to him and what he decides. We just want to please the heart of Imam Zaman. This is the highest level of istirar. That we have istirar for wali khuda, for the sake of wali khuda, because he leads us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, how do we answer the previous point of those who were having istirar for the hereafter? Because remember what they said. They said, look, to have istirar for the hereafter is very good because heaven is the manifestation of the kindness of Allah. Hell is the manifestation of the anger of Allah. So how do we answer that now? Well, this third group, this istirar for Allah, will say the following. They'll say, yes, the fruits of heaven manifest the kindness of Allah. The meats of heaven manifest the kindness of Allah. The heavenly spouses and mansions and palaces, yes, they all manifest the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Agreed. Hell manifests the anger of Allah. Agreed. But then Ahlul-bayt manifest all of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the most perfect sense. So heaven as a manifestation of Allah compared to Ahlul-bayt as a manifestation of the qualities of Allah. This is why Amirul Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Laysa lillahi ayatun hiya akbaru minni. There is no sign of Allah greater than me, Amirul Mu'mineen says. There is no sign of Allah. You go out, you look at the sun, the moon, the stars, nature, trees, all of these amazing things which Allah has created. You, for example, watch a documentary about space and galaxies and how there are billions and trillions of stars and galaxies, and it's mind-boggling. Amirul Mu'mineen says, I'm greater than all of those. If you want to understand Allah, I'm greater than all of those. Laysa lillahi ayatun hiya akbaru minni. There is no sign of Allah greater than me. Wala naba'un a'zamu minni. And there is no news. You know in Surah Amma yatasa'alun anin naba'il azim. And they ask about the great news. He says there is no news greater than me. You want to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You have to go through Ahlul-bayt. We are mustar for Imam Zaman because he leads us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have istirar for Imam Zaman because there is no other way to get to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except through Ahlul-bayt alayhimus salam. Whoever thinks that no, there are other ways, there are multiple ways, they are mistaken. I'm really sorry. There is one way. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. One straight path. Other paths, if they are different to the straight path, then obviously they're going in different directions. There is one straight path. Path of Ahlul-bayt, which leads us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Sayyid Karim Mahmoodi was not a scholar. You can say a lay person. In fact, his profession also was very much a lay person's profession. He was a shoe seller. He had a small store selling shoes. But he was a very special insan, very special individual. Sheikh Murtaza Zahid, which I had mentioned previously in today's lecture, he was very good friends with this Sayyid Mahmud. After the death of this Sayyid Mahmud, the shoe seller, after he died, Sheikh Murtaza Zahid began to declare some of the things that Sayyid Mahmud used to do and experience. One of the things was that he would have audiences with Imam Zaman. He would meet Imam Zaman. And Sheikh Murtaza Zahid, he narrates the following. He says, in one meeting of theirs between him and Imam Zaman showed him his place in heaven. Imam Zaman showed Sayyid Mahmud that this was going to be your place in heaven. Sayyid Mahmud asked Imam Zaman, Mawla, that's my place. Will you also be there with me? Imam Zaman said, no, I will be obviously on a higher level. Sayyid Mahmud said, in that case, Mawla, I don't want that place in heaven. Do you see the difference? You see, some of us will not understand this. I know. For some of us, it's very difficult to accept these things. But for some people, this comes as second nature. For some people, everything is in Wali Zaman. Everything they want is in Wali Khuda. Because they will lead them to the ultimate, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For some people, they won't accept this. One scholar was asked, for example, look at the difference in people's ambitions. Ambitions. One scholar was asked, what are you looking forward to most in heaven? You know what he replied? He said, I'm looking forward to meeting with my Imam at the pool of Kausar. I will ask Imam Ali, you teach me Nahjul Balagha. You teach me. I want to understand from you what you meant when you said these things. People will dismiss this, for example. They will not accept it. I understand. But this is the ultimate level of istirar, where you have istirar for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you know this is your avenue to Allah. Not for any selfish need, not for any worldly need, not even for your akhirat as such, but for the sake of experiencing the love of Allah. And this is exactly what Karbala teaches us, isn't it? How to give up everything for the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who doesn't love their children? Who doesn't love their sisters? Who doesn't love their daughters? Abba Abdullah showed, I can give everything, but I want to please my Lord. I can sacrifice a baby in my arms, but as long as my Lord is happy. I can allow my sisters to be chained and shackled as long as my Lord is happy with me. I can risk everything that I have in a material sense as long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happy with me. This is the lesson of Karbala. That nothing else matters when it comes up against the happiness and pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today was the day of 2nd Muharram. And this is the day in which Abba Abdullah steps foot into Karbala. When Abba Abdullah reaches Karbala, he begins to ask, he says, what is the name of this place? Some people say to him, Mawla, this place is known as Nainawa. He says, no. Does it have any other name? Someone says, Mawla, this place is known as Qaziriya. He says, no. Another name? They say Shattul Furat. He says, no. Another name? An old person was called and he was asked, that do you know of any old name of this place that we have arrived? He said, there is one old name of this place. It is known as Karbin wa Bala, hardship and difficulty. Imam Hussein alayhi salam recites, A'udhu billahi min karbin wa bala. I seek refuge with Allah from this calamity and these hardships. Imam Hussein says, we will camp here. Bibi Kulsum comes. She says, brother, since we have stepped foot on this land, my heart is anxious. I feel sad. Imam Hussein says, this is the place, my sister. This is the place where our graves will be. This is the place where our blood will be spilled. This is the place where our children will die. This is the place where our women folk will be taken as prisoners. He calls the Bani Asad tribe. The Bani Asad tribe was the main tribe of that area. He calls them. He says, I want to buy this land. They said, Mawla, you can have it for free. We will gift it to you. He said, no, I don't want it for free. I will buy it. He bought the land and then he gifted it back to Bani Asad. He gifted it back, but he says, I'm gifting you this with 3 conditions. Azizan, listen to how much Imam loves us. Listen to how much Imam loves his Shias. Listen to how much Imam loves each and every one of us. He says, I have 3 conditions. Number 1, that we will be killed here in a few days' time. The first condition is that you are to bury us after we are killed. They said, Mawla, we will do this, no problem. He said, number 2, the second condition is that once you bury us, do not water that area. It should look like there are graves there. We don't want things growing on our graves. They said, Mawla, done. We agree. And now the third condition. He said, my third condition is that a day will come when my lovers and my Shias will come here for my ziyarat. My lovers and my Shias will come here to perform my ziyarat. O Bani Asad, the condition is that when they come, you are to feed them and you are to give them water for 3 days. Mawla, your own children are thirsty. Mawla, you are thinking of us, that one day we will go to Karbala and we should not be thirsty. Mawla, your Ali Asghar died thirsty. Mawla, your Ali Akbar died thirsty. Mawla, but you are so kind to us that you want us to come there and not have any problems. Bani Asad, these are the 3 conditions. They agreed. Imam Hussein now begins to set up the camp. One of the tents he marks as his own. One is for Hazrat Qasim. One is for Hazrat Ali Akbar. One at the front is, of course, the lion of Allah, the lion of Amirul Mu'mineen, Hazrat Abbas. He's at the front to guard everybody. And one of them is for Zainab. When the tent of Zainab is put out, when they start to build the tent of Zainab, they bring Zainab down from the camel with izzat and with dignity. Janab Ali Akbar helps Janab Zainab down. Hazrat Abbas helps Janab Zainab down. What sha'an, what dignity, what izzat they give to Janab Zainab. This is the same Zainab, however, that on the 11th of Muharram, how she entered Karbala with izzat, how she left Karbala on 11th of Muharram. The first thing they did was, she came and they said, everyone is to go onto the camels on the 11th of Muharram. She said, who will help us? These are the daughters of Rasulullah. These are ladies of dignity and honor. We are the ladies of Bani Hashim. Bibi Zainab helped each and every one of the ladies go onto the camel. And then it came to her turn. What does it say in Maqtal? Maqtal says, Zainab nadarat yaminan wa nadarat shimala. She looked here, she looked there. Then she looked at Furat and she said, where are you, my brother Abul Fadl Abbas? I am alone. I have to mount on the camel. You were there when we left Medina. You were there when we arrived in Karbala. Then she hears the moving of chains and shackles. There is someone coming who is chained and shackled. She looks behind. Imam Zainul Abidin is coming. Oh, Auntie Zainab, although my back is broken, although my neck is in chains, I will help you onto the camel. Zainab mounts onto the camel. The camels are now led from Karbala. But do you know how they were led from Karbala? Do you know which route was taken? The enemy said, take them through so that the camel has to pass every single body on the plain of Karbala. Someone saw the body of Aliyun al-Akbar and she broke down. Someone saw the body of Hazrat Qasim and she broke down. Zainab sees the body which is not like any other body in Karbala. There is one body up ahead. She looks at that body and she feels such a sadness. She sees that body. That body is the one body that has been trampled by the horses. That is the body whose limbs have been severed. That is the body whose body is so much full of arrows. She looks at that body. She can't control. She throws herself from the camel and then she begins to run to that body. Ajrukum alallah. As she is running to the body, she runs and she falls. Then she runs and falls. Then she runs and falls. One of the interpretations is this, that Zainab would run, but then she would find, for example, the finger of Imam Hussein and she would pick it up. She would run and she would find one of the arms of Imam Hussein and she would pick it up. Because the horses had caused such damage to the body of Abu Abdullah that the limbs had been severed from his body. And then finally she reaches the body. Do you know what she says at that moment? This is her brother that she has grown up with, that she is so close to. But then she looks at this body and she says, Anta akhi, Anta al-Hussein. Is this really you, my brother? Is this really you? Is this what has become of you? And then she looks to Medina and she begins to cry, Wa Muhammadah, O Prophet of God, Hadha al-Hussein, this is your Hussein, Murammalum bid-dima, he is rolling and he is covered in his own blood, Muqatta'ul a'adha, his limbs have been severed. Matame Hussein.